Hi guys, it's Rike here and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Rike and I review a lot of activewear, but sometimes also swimwear. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you just keep watching. And yes, you heard it right. Today we have another swimwear review. It might be getting colder outside in the northern hemisphere, but maybe not where you live. Or maybe you just like going to the pool and you need some new swimwear for that. Or you're going on vacation to somewhere nice and warm. You know, that's kind of also what I'm still planning for this year. So yeah. I do have a Berlook review for you today. Berlook did send me some swim pieces again. They have done this a few times already, and honestly, I feel like they have a lot of good choices, lots of colors, lots of different pieces. And what I really like about their stuff is that you can buy the tops and the bottoms separately, so you can actually like choose which size you need, because sometimes that's not possible, and it's like, okay, but I'm two different sizes. Like, how am I supposed to make that work? And they also a lot of times do have different options for tops and bottoms in the same color, print, whatever. So you can easily mix and match with your style of bottoms or your style of tops, right? What if you don't like the skimpy bottoms, but you like the skimpy top, and then just, you know. So you can easily mix and match, which is really, really nice. I can link my Berlook playlist up here in case you're interested in any of the other pieces they have, because a lot of times they will still have them in stock, even though I reviewed them a few months ago. So don't worry about that. And if you do want to shop some Berlook for yourself, you can use Tails20 to get 20% off your purchase. And yeah, I would say let's just get going. I think I do have 5 different outfits for you, basically. I did get one piece and 4 bikini sets. With bikini sets, we'll talk about the top and the bottoms, and then we will see the whole thing on together. Yeah, but keep in mind you can always choose different tops and different bottoms. Or not always, but for a lot of the different prints. But anyway, let's rip this open and let's see what we got. All right. One thing I like about the stuff that they sent me, and I'm assuming this is how they pack all their orders, it always does come in a little bag. So the pieces aren't necessarily individually wrapped in plastic, but you get it all in this bag. And then you do have to get this out. And then you do have just everything kind of wrapped, in paper, which is nice. It's a little bit more sustainable. I'm like, okay, there's just some straps that fell out. What is happening here? Okay. All right. We'll figure this out. But yeah, I tried to get a few different colors. I kind of defaulted to some that I really like, the blue, for example. I also tried some purple this time, and a little black and white number. But yeah, let's just start somewhere. I'm just gonna pick a random set. Let's go with this one. And then we'll just start seeing what we have. So bottoms and the top. All right. This one's cute. I like this print. Okay, let me just double check what the things are called. They usually don't have very complicated names, but I still like to get it right, you know? So for this one, this is, I believe, the women knitted a nylon bikini top, and then we'll talk about the bottoms when we get to the bottoms. So yeah, again, women knitted nylon bikini top, and this is just color blue. It is like a little bit more of a, it leans a little bit towards teal, I would say, but it is a beautiful blue. I like this one. So I chose this top, and I'm usually not the big fan of like the Underwire type things, but sometimes they can be cute. So let's see how that works out for me. So we do have a little texture on this, which I love. I always love a good texture on, it doesn't have to just be bikinis, but also like normal activewear, like kind of like a Jacquard fabric kind of thing, where the print or the pattern is basically woven in. So it has like this texture. I just love it. I also do like ripped stuff because it has texture. It just feels good. Anyway, so this I got in my normal size small. This says it is made from, does it even say that? Nope. I will try to see if I can figure it out. I would assume it's the same fabric as the bottoms, but also they do not have any information. Oh no, there it is. Okay, it's actually on the hang tag, so it's good. I'm looking at it now. So fabric is 90% recycled polyamide. Love to see recycled fabrics, and 10% spandex. And then in the lining, we do have 87% recycled polyamide and 13% spandex. And I believe that's the same, yeah, for the bottoms. So yeah, they use recycled nylon which reduces greenhouse gas emissions and conserves petroleum resources and reduces waste to landfill. So always good, right? Recycled materials, we should all be using more of those. And then you do have removable cup pads in here. Like I said, there's an underwire to give you a little bit of structure. We have these two kind of bands keeping the cups together here. And look at this texture. I just like this texture. Ooh, my nail polish kind of matches. But yeah, look at this texture. It feels really good. I like it. And you can definitely tell like the outside is a little bit more cottony, whereas the inside definitely has this like really swim fabric feel, very sleek and very soft. And that's what's going to be up against your skin, right? And then the straps are very adjustable because we do have, right, we do have the thin straps here, but they're kind of, yeah, they go through the back part and then it's all just one thing that you can adjust. So you can adjust the width and you can adjust the length of the straps. Just, that's a good thing usually about swimwear. There's a lot of adjustability with a lot of the styles at least. And yeah, overall, these are cute. Like, let's see if the cups fit me with my small. I have a small chest, so we'll see. But worst case scenario, you can always like kind of size up or down depending on your cup size, right? Because yeah, they don't sell this with different cup sizes. This is really just like extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, basically. And this is our top. Love the color. And then for the bottoms, these looked a little different, which is kind of why I was like, ooh, let's try this. And these are just called the women knitted nylon bikini bottoms. Again, color blue. And you can see it's the same texture on here. So it kind of has this Jacquard fabric feel. And we do have a lining on the inside as well. Same material as on the top. And yeah, I just like the bottoms because they look like they're going to be really high leg cut, which is something I like. I think that's very flattering on my body type. And it kind of really looks like that. So we have this band up top, stretchy, but does have like a seam at the top and also like at the bottom, not as much, but like the top definitely has a seam. And then you do have, a little bit more coverage in the back, but not too much. And then decent coverage in the front. But yeah, it's just like it's two pieces, right? You have the waistband kind of, and then you do have the main part here. Yeah, double lined, like I said. And then in the back, we do have this little metal looking Berlook logo. Looks a little elegant, of course, to have it like that. And yeah, overall, I was just really interested in those bottoms. I never had bikini bottoms like this. So I was like, I need to try that and see how it looks, how it works. And then this is the top that basically matches, right? And it also looks cute. So anyway, let's just see this on. All right. I'll say I do like this one. I was a little unsure about these cups, and I do think I need to kind of like adjust where it sits and stuff, but I like the color. I do love the bottoms. I do think they're super flattering and they're very, very comfy, and they have a good amount of coverage. Like, sure, not a ton, but like it's a good amount. So yeah, wow, I love this one. Like, I'm positively surprised because I was a little concerned about this top because sometimes I do have gaping when I do have like the underwire type things as in like bras and stuff. But this actually, like it covers me. Like it's all good. Like there's no gaping. And yeah, it's just a matter of like kind of adjusting this and tying it properly because it's always a little bit hard to tie it behind in the back. I personally find it's always hard to tie something there. So I always ask for help. But help was unavailable right now. Anyway, I love the cut. Like oh my God, I like it. Like I was curious about this, but I didn't think I was gonna like it as much, if that makes sense. Cute. So we do have the underwire here, which I personally, it's not uncomfortable. I always feel like it doesn't have to be there, but it's there. My boobs do fit in here, but I would definitely recommend that you kind of keep that in mind, that there's no cup sizes and that you might want to size for the boobs. So I would say the small is probably like A to B cup. And for a bigger cup, I would definitely size up because you can adjust the rest, right? Like the strap, like this one single strap, adjust this and adjust this. So I feel like just size for the cups. There's a little bit of extra space, which is why I'm saying the B cup would also go in here, right? Because I'm kind of A to B kind of, but like, yeah, I would size for the cup size in that case. But it's cute. I love the texture on here. So there is the removable cup pads in here, and there's a little bit of this kind of like whole stuff there, and some of it looks a little skin tone, and that is the cup pad. But once the cup pad ends, you just have blue underlining there. So I feel like they should have made either the cup pads cover the whole thing, or just made them blue, because otherwise it's a little bit odd. But I mean, not super noticeable, I guess. And then you do have these little like strings in between to keep the cups together. Good side coverage here, and then we do have this thin strap. And in the back, it's just very open and just, yeah, all tied together with this one strap. Support-wise, I would say this is actually like a solid light to medium support, honestly. Very supportive bikini top, surprisingly. And yeah, then we have these bottoms, and like I said, I do think they're actually super flattering. I love these bottoms. So we do have this band, right? And then like the lower part is just attached to the band here. But you can wear it high on the hips, which I personally love. You do have good coverage in the front here. You can also, of course, pull this a little lower if you want, but for me, that's not it. So I would wear it like this. High leg cut for sure. And then in the back, you do have like, yeah, more minimal coverage. But it's definitely not like full on cheeks. I'm still a little covered. But I also like that it comes nice and high in the front, in the back here. We do have the little logo here as well. And yeah, in the front, it's a little bit lower, but it's not super low, right? Like, it's a perfect bottom, actually. Like, I love these ones. Like, they're super comfy. And yes, they do have seams. And there's maybe a little bit of cutting in on the side here, but it's not uncomfortable. That always happens. So yeah, I don't know. This is a great start. Let's continue. Okay, next up, we're going for this shiny lavender number. This honestly also just says women knitted nylon bikini top, but it is slightly different for sure. Yeah, you'll find the proper names on the screen in case like there's proper names that they didn't write on the order info, basically. Yeah, let's start with the top again. So again, size small here. And you can see this, it looks like there's tons of coverage actually for the chest on this one. So we do have removable cup pads in here. There's definitely some ruching going on. And then this big metal ring. Look at it. It even has like some pattern on it, which is actually kind of cool. It's like a little hidden detail. It's a little bit like wavy pattern on there. And of course it matches the other hardware that we have for the adjustable straps here. So yeah, this one is definitely different. It's still very adjustable, but definitely different than the first top we saw. Because here we do have up and down straps that are adjustable with the normal kind of like bra strap adjustability things. A little ring here as well at the bottom. And then you do have a band in the back as well to adjust the width. So I always like to see the adjustability, but it is definitely differently done on this one. I do like this big fat metal ring in the middle. Yeah, it's like, and like I said, it looks like there's going to be tons of coverage. The outside feels super sleek. I do love a good shiny moment, but yeah, it feels super sleek. And the inside fabric also very, very sleek. Kind of feels like in this occurrence, we do have the same type of material on the inside and the outside, but let me double check. No, actually not. So the main fabric is 82% recycled polyamide and 18% spandex. And the lining is 80% recycled polyamide and 20% spandex. So very slight differences. Same fabric, by the way, on the bottom, so that we'll get to in a second. And yeah, overall, like I like to see that there's a ton of coverage. I don't need that much coverage, but it's good to see. Because I feel like, especially for a bigger chest, it's harder to find cute bikini tops. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, I feel like there's a decent amount of coverage for this being a size small. And yeah, it looks very cute. It looks very elegant as well. I wasn't sure about the color at first because I'm always worried that the lighter colors are going to wash me out. But it's so cute and I couldn't resist the shiny moment. That was the thing, you know. Onto the bottoms now. I always try to pick different coverage bottoms or like very different styles of bottoms to show you what's available. And this time I picked these ones. Now these are a little bit more coverage for sure. They feel quite tight up top, so we have a top seam. And they definitely match. They're like very shiny as well. We have the ruching part here on the side, and you can see they're very high-waisted. And then in the back actually kind of looks like it's gonna be a medium coverage. So I usually don't opt for like this much coverage in the back, but I felt like, you know, it'd be good to show you guys different options. Yeah, so when I get to pick so many different sets, I try to pick a variety so I can really show what's available. And I hope that makes sense to you. But yeah, and I like the ruching on the side. Again, I like the shininess. That's really what convinced me. And then in the back, you also do have, again, like this kind of logo. They never put this on the top. They always just put it on the bottoms, which, to be fair, for me, that's perfectly fine. You know, I don't like big, obnoxious logos, so this is perfect. And of course, this also kind of matches with the shininess now that we have like the little bit of sparkle there. And yeah, overall, like they look super high-waisted. Still like they gotta be high leg cut as well, right? But we definitely do have like a wider like part here on the side with the ruching. And yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good coverage for both pieces here. Let's see this on. All right, this is a very light colored number, especially against my pale skin. But look at it, like it's cute. Like it definitely has a lot more coverage than the previous set. You still have the adjustability in the top, right? Because I will show you in a second. But yeah, definitely more coverage in the top, I think, but also in the bottoms, of course. I think in the bottoms, it's a little bit more obvious that you do have a little bit more coverage here. Let's talk about the top. So we do have this ruching here, and you have this big metal ring with the little detailing. And now you can see the detailing a little bit better now that I have it on. We have removable cup pads in here, and then you have those thin straps that you can adjust. So we do have the clasp there, and you can adjust it here. And then in the back, you can tie a little tie there with the band. These straps sit quite far out on the shoulders. I can kind of see it from like, the look of the whole thing, but like I'm afraid they're gonna fall off my shoulders a little bit. Which of course, if you're tanning, it's super nice that you can easily like slip them off your arms. So you don't get the little tan line there. But I feel like they could have come in a little bit more, but also I wonder if I tighten them a little bit more, they're probably gonna be a bit more secure. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's a good coverage. There's also definitely a little bit more space for coverage, removable cup pads in here. And it's just a little shiny number. I like that. And then let's move on to the bottoms. So I like parts of the bottoms. And I think this is a great option for someone who's looking for a little bit more coverage. Because yes, they're not fully high-waisted, but they're definitely high-waisted enough. They get you a lower tummy, you get a little bit of coverage, a little bit of compression here. We do have the ruching on the side, which I think is super flattering. You get a good coverage here in the front as well. And yeah, the ruching does move around, right? You can kind of adjust that if there's something wrong with it. And then we do have seams here on the side, but honestly, I feel like they're actually, there's actually tons of space. Also at the top, you have a seam, but space, it's not cutting in. And then it's not as high leg cut, but we do have very, very full coverage here in the cheeks. I wouldn't call it super full coverage, right? Because full coverage would literally be like down here and then, yeah. It's like kind of like a surf short. But I would say this is medium to full coverage, honestly. And surprisingly, like when I move, they don't move. So the seams are tight enough that they kind of make them stay put, but not too tight to really cut into the butt cheeks too much. Because I've definitely had that like before once or twice with like bikini bottoms where it's like, okay, great, they're like medium coverage, cutting across my cheeks and like really just cutting into the cheeks, like separating them, which is like, that's not what I want. So this is actually pretty good. Especially because I do have a more voluptuous butt, so it's nice to see that that still works there. Because not cutting in too much. Yeah. Now, personally, that's a little bit too much coverage for me, honestly. But I know that, there's people out there who like this and who need this type of coverage. So there you go. And there you can see it. Yeah. Another good set. Let's move on. Okay, we're just going to continue with the lavender color family here. I feel like, I just couldn't resist this print, but I feel like you could easily mix and match the pieces, like from the set and the previous set I showed you. Anyway, I feel like this is probably going to be the same type of thing. It's just called the Women Knitted Nylon Blended Bikini Top. Again, color purple here. But yeah, look at this. I loved the pattern here. They do have quite a lot of those where you have like this really nice pattern on it and on it like a really nice color. So it's really hard to pick those because they also have a texture, which again, I love, right? And it's kind of knitted on there, like with a white fabric basically. So it's, yeah, I just love a good texture. So that's really what gets me. And yeah, I mean, look at it. It's cute. So this is a kind of more of a triangular shape, right? But it is still different than a normal triangle bikini top. It does have a little bit more structure. So we do have our triangle bits here. We do have removable cup pads, and we even do have a little seam here on the chest, right? Like you sometimes get with tops. And then the band is stretchy, but not too much, but a little bit stretchy. And then it does have a clasp here. So this one here, not adjustable. So this is the first bottoms that we have that are not adjustable. Now I need to, oh my God, that's gonna be difficult to do behind my back maybe. But anyway, clips right in and comes out and clips right in, there we go. So this is a little bit less adjustable in that way, but we do have like silver hardware on here. And then in the back as well, so you do have the thicker straps here and they are adjustable as well. So you have your little clasp and the little ring here at the bottom, so you can easily adjust the straps, which is nice. So still some adjustability, but not as much as with the other two tops that we saw before. But yeah, I love this texture, and I like a little triangle bikini moment because it always looks good on my little chest. So yeah, not as much coverage on this one maybe as on the previous top, but it is cute. So yeah, this is the top fabric, by the way. 36% recycled polyamide, 48% recycled polyester, and then 16% spandex on the outer fabric. And the lining is the same as before, 80% recycled polyamide and 20% spandex. So nice and soft and sleek on the inside. And the bottoms to match this. Again, these are also just called the Women Knitted Nylon Blended Bikini Bottoms in purple. By the way, all the bottoms I also got in a size medium. So these were also slightly different. That's why I picked these. Again, we have the nice texture on the outside. Fabric is the same as the top. And we also do have the lining here, which is nice and sleek. By the way, lining always very, very important on bikini pieces or swim pieces, because otherwise stuff is going to get see-through when it is wet, right? I feel like this whole, what was the Kylie Swim, right, disaster where like things were just like single lined, and that was like, why would anyone ever do that? So yeah, that's why I also try to, always tell you this is double lined. It's all good. To be fair, most people double line the swimwear, but apparently some people don't. So anyway, so these are maybe a little bit more of a classic bikini cut. I feel like these don't look like they're going to be super high leg. They look like they're going to sit a little bit lower on the hips as well. And then we do have a little crisscross moment here, like just the littlest, but it's a little crisscross moment in the front. You also do have a top elastic band here. It's not a top seam, but there's definitely an elastic band at the top. It's a little bit tighter to make sure things stay up. And then in the back, you just do have like I feel like it's kind of medium coverage, right? One thing they maybe could have done is like add a little seam here down the back. Because in a way, this looks like it's a little waistband, right? This one, by the way, logo here as well. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of there's the one Pop Flex bottoms, I think the crisscross hourglass bikini bottoms or something. They do have a crisscross waist in the front. And then in the back, they do have a little seam going down the middle, which is just accentuating the glutes a little bit more. Gives you a little bit more glute separation if that's what you're looking for. Of course, you don't have to. It's not very often to see that. You see that on bottoms, but they could have done that maybe. But anyway, it looks like it's going to be like a good, decent coverage in the back here as well. But yeah, not as high-waisted, not as high leg cut, just a very different option. And again, I'm trying to show you guys all the different options available. So yeah, and I can't show them all to you because there's so many, which is nice. But yeah, let's see this on. Okay, another purple number. The top, cute. Do think it's flattering also for a small chest, and there's definitely a little bit more space if you have a bigger chest, but you could also size up for a bigger chest just to allow for more space. Because honestly, the underbust part is a little tighter, so definitely kind of wouldn't want it any tighter than this. So yeah, and this is kind of like a little unusual for me in a small. So definitely if you're in between sizes, do size up for this one. It is not adjustable in the underbust band, so if you're in doubt, do size up. Otherwise, the straps are adjustable, so I could get a little bit more lift if I wanted to. And we have this beautiful, beautiful pattern on the fabric here, so I think that's super cute. Good side coverage here, and then of course you do have a little bit more showing here, and the straps are a little thicker. They're quite comfy, and yeah, you can adjust them in the back. But definitely, band is tighter than I expected. It'll stay put, but yeah, I was trying to close it like this, and I always struggle with that anyway. So now I just went, closed it in the front and just moved it around. That's also how I usually deal with bras, with clasps. So there's that. I think like the top, I like it. I do like the cut of it. Support-wise, yeah, solid light to medium support, I would say. Because the band definitely has got you. So if in doubt, there's a little bit of extra stretch, of extra fabric available, but if in doubt, you size up for this one. And then onto the bottoms. I do find the seams here at the bottom very tight. So I would actually say size up. I don't think I would have minded, like I like how they fit up top here, but honestly for this part, I would have preferred the large. So I would say in general, do size up for these ones if you have like a bit more around this area. So these are also a little bit lower. They're not necessarily high leg cut. They do have this little cross waist part here, and it still kind of covers a little bit of the lower tummy as well. So I do think it hits at a good spot. We do have good coverage here in the front, and then in the back, it's also actually quite covering, I would say. Comes up nice and high here, which I always like to see. And then it's kind of, this is definitely medium coverage, not medium to full, but medium. And it's just rolling over a little bit here. Let me adjust that. There we go. I feel like it's hard to see from me in the back. I feel like this is covering less than the other side. But, you know, just imagine it's kind of the same. It's, yeah, I would say medium coverage. And for a little bit, it stays put at least, you know, but then it starts kind of coming into the crack a little bit. But I like the part up top here. It should be, the seam is a little tight around here, so do size up. And otherwise kind of cute. It's a different bottom option again, right? A little bit less covering than the other purple one, but definitely a little bit more covering than the blue one. I think the blue is still my favorite so far though. But yeah, it's cute. It's nice to see all these different options. Like everyone can find something that they like, right? But let's move on. Okay, our last bikini set. We do have a little blue number again. This is more of a baby blue, but I love a good baby blue. Look at this, so cute. And again, we have texture on here. And again, I love texture. So yeah, they have so many different good options in terms of fabric. There's also a lot of like always sparkly lyric stuff, which I like, but I already do have a few of that. You can find this all in my Berlook playlist, of course. And so if you're looking for like some sparkly bikinis, they also do have them. And I've also reviewed some that you can still get. But yeah, now we're onto texture apparently today. But yeah, look at this. So nice. Oh. And it's like just different blue tones now, right? And the bottoms are, of course, also the same. So this is also just called, on my order sheet at least, the Women Knit and Nylon Blended Bikini Top in light blue. And this one is, again, a different top than the other ones I've showed you today. So we do have this little knot here in the front that you can like kind of move around a little bit. I'm also wondering if you could actually undo it. I'm not going to undo it, but like maybe you could. And it kind of looks like you just do have like, you know, removable cup pads in here. And it looks a little bit triangular now here, the coverage part. But I feel like it's probably just like, if this, because this is an actual knot, right? Like I feel like it's probably just a normal like banded like kind of like normal coverage thing, and then they just put a knot in. But of course, if you undid the knot, it would just become way too big, right? We do have thinner straps here, by the way, aligned with light blue as well, but the darker light blue, right? It's not the same as the lightest color on here, it's just the darker color. And then, yeah, straps here. And the nice thing about this, again, is it's super adjustable because the straps also just come through the back here, and then you just have that one tie that you need to make to adjust the strap length, but also adjust the fit in the back. So that's always good. Makes it a little bit easier. And it's just like a very open back in that way too, right? Material-wise, we have 66% recycled polyamide, 25% recycled polyester, and 9% spandex. And the lining is made from 82% recycled polyamide and 18% spandex. Same for the bottoms here. So the bottoms, again, also just, oops. I'll just do that. Also called, just very normal, very basic, the Women Knitted Nylon Blended Bikini bottoms in light blue. And yeah, these are kind of like your normal triangle bikini bottoms, except for this is not adjustable, right? This part here is there, so the string doesn't go all the way through here. You just have the two on the side. So this part is going to give you coverage, and the amount of coverage is not adjustable. But yeah, these you can wear high on your hips. You can wear them low on your hips if you want. It looks like it should be decent amount of coverage and a little bit more in the back than in the front. We do have the Berlook logo here in the back as well, and again lined with the light blue fabric as well. Yeah, we have a little seam at the top. But yeah, these ones are always super adjustable, right? Like you don't need to be afraid of it being too tight, or the only thing you need to be afraid of it being not enough coverage or too much for what you want. But I think it should be fine. Yeah. Let's see these on. All right, and here's this light blue little number. It's quite cute, you know. A little bit more skimpy than some of the other pieces. Although I feel like the top is on par with the other pieces we've seen, right? So we do have the little knot detail here, removable cop pads, decent space for the boobs, and there's a little bit more space. So no need to size up for slightly bigger, maybe for a little bit bigger though, for more bigger, I don't know. But yeah, again, you have thin straps here and everything is adjustable. So we do have that one strap that ties it all together, because the strap comes through here basically. And then, yeah, you just need to adjust this part. And this one is super comfy actually. So part-wise, I would say, yeah, light to medium support again. So all of them are kind of good with that. And it's cute. I feel like it kind of separates the boobs a little bit more, so I don't get as much like cleavage with this one, but it still looks cute, and I'm not gonna, like, I don't feel like I'm gonna fall out or anything, right? I'm nicely tucked in here, and I do love the pattern and the color. It's nice. It also feels good, like a good texture, so it has texture too, and we have the little ruching as well here. And then the bottoms, again, you can get other bottoms for this as well. If you don't like these little ones, actually I should tie them a little bit better, because I feel like these were a little loose, and I think it's just the default tie that I didn't, you know, deal with. But yeah, you can adjust that, right? So one strap on this side to adjust, and then on the other side it's another strap, because this does not go through. But here, I'm just gonna leave it at that. One side is enough. So yeah, it's definitely like a more typical triangle bikini top, bikini bottom. It comes quite low here, which they usually do. We do have okay coverage here as well, though, and then you do have the strings. You can of course always wear them on your hips lower if you want to, but personally I think this way just looks better. So highlight cut that way, right? You can see lots of leg, elongates the leg as well. And then in the back, comes up nice and high, which I personally really like. I like to see that. And then of course you can kind of see, depending on what your butt does, it might come into the crack a little bit and then like bunch up a bit. But honestly, that happens with a lot of these types of tops. Bottoms. It is a pair of bottoms. But I just like how high it comes up here. And then we also do have the little logo there, so all perfectly well. But of course, this is definitely the least amount of coverage in the back of everything we've seen so far. So, you know, definitely a little bit more revealing. However, also the most adjustable bottom. So very comfy. And yeah, like I said, I love the color, I love the pattern, I love how the fabric feels. And let's move on. Okay, and as promised in the beginning, I also did get a one piece. That is this little black and white number. And this one is just called, again, it probably has a different name, but like on my sheet, it says Women Knitted Nylon One Pieces Swimwear. And this one is made from 74% recycled polyamide and 26% elastane. And then the lining is 80% recycled polyamide and 20% elastane. So lining, very sleek, just black. And here on the outside, we do have ribbed fabric. I love good ribbed texture on a swim piece. So this is all ribbed all the way through. And this little string that just came, you know, that just fell out of the back is a little belt that you can tie around your waist. So it has like a little golden detailing here, and then it's actually adjustable as well. So you do have this little, it's not very adjustable, to be fair, because it's only the small part you can adjust, but it is adjustable. And this is for around the waist to accentuate the waist a little bit more, which is kind of cute. I don't actually know if you can open it, if you just have to like swing it, just get it over your head basically and get it all the way down. We'll test that, of course. But yeah, so I figured it would be good to get like a classic like one piece, and they have so many different ones to choose from. I picked this one because I thought it looked kind of elegant. I'm not necessarily always an elegant person, but why not try to be one, right? And this is kind of like this Saint-Tropez, like Southern France, French Riviera feeling. I feel like, you know, it looks cute. So we do have like a bandeau, kind of like just a straight neckline here. We have removable cup pads in here. And then you actually do have like, of course, seams to keep the cup pads in place. There's a little elastic seam actually under the cup pads here. So kind of like it's not really a shelf bra, but it is in a way. I don't know. It doesn't go all the way around either, but like there's this little elastic seam here. And then we do have the Berlook logo here in the back as well. It looks like it's gonna be highlight cut, which I like. Decent coverage in the front, and then, you know, it's not full coverage in the back for sure, which I also, again, is not really my thing, but, you know. And then we do have adjustable straps here as well at the top. The hardware is silver on this one. I feel like it should be, I mean, this is more gold, right? But this is also silver. I feel like they could have matched that a little bit better, but it is fine. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about this. I'm curious to see if this is going to be long torso friendly because I do have a longer torso. But you know what? The only way to find this out is to try it on. Let's do it. All right, here's this little elegant one piece. So definitely highlight cut, especially if you have a long torso. This is kind of how it's going to fit on you. Honestly, like I don't mind that because I do like a good highlight cut. We do have the white detailing here, which I also feel like kind of, you know, shapes the figure a little bit more. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I feel like it's not overly like pulling. So I would say this is definitely long torso friendly. It could come up a little bit higher because the seam for the cup pads kind of ends here, but this would be under my boobs here, right? But honestly, it's perfectly fine. Like it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It's not like doing this, right? So it's yeah, pretty good. And we do have the thin straps here. They can be adjusted. They can be adjusted, exactly. And let me just adjust that in the back because the inner part, of course, the lining is black, so you kind of have to make sure that it doesn't poke out on the sides. No, it doesn't. Yes, so this is now without the belt. You can kind of see, even though this is a medium and my waist is a small, it can still kind of like shapes nicely to the waist. There's a little bit of extra fabric bunching up here, but it's not the end of the world. And we do have definitely like, you know, just like a light coverage here. Again, if you have a short torso, you could probably pull this down a little bit more and have a little bit more coverage. But for a long torso, this is what it's gonna look like. And also, honestly, I think that was kind of what it was supposed to look like a little bit more highlight cut. But a lot of things can be worn depending on A, how long you are, right? And also B, how you want to wear them. Like with the bottoms, a lot of them you can just push down on the hips if that's what you want to do. With here, if you do have the shorter torso, you can pull it down a little bit more to give you more of that type of coverage, and then also the back coverage will adjust, right? Now let me just adjust this again. But yeah, so I definitely have some bunching up here around the waist, but I personally don't mind that much. It's perfectly fine. And this way, of course, also it fits nicely around the hips and around the butt, right? Now, I realized that we have two belts. I don't remember if it was supposed to be two belts or if it's just, you know, they just added a second one. But the other one is the same thing. So we do have the adjustability here, not a lot, but a little bit. And yeah, that's the belt. So I think what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna put this over our heads. Or I'm gonna put this over my head. Oops, got a hair. And then, didn't just get one hair, did I? Hold on. Okay, got a lot of hairs, so be careful with that. And then you can have that around your waist. And of course, it just accentuates the waist a little bit more. Although I feel like they are already, the one piece is already doing a great job at that because the fabric just kind of like lies close to your skin, right? There was no gaping in the back or like no like weird empty space there, which I sometimes get when, especially when they're a little short. that you have like a little bit of empty gaping space in the back. And then this belt, of course, would have really helped, but like, yeah, with this one, not super necessary. And then you can also see now, because the fabric is bunching, it's kind of hiding the belt in the back. But you can still see it in the front. So there you go. And yeah, you can adjust that slightly, but it just, you know, adds a little bit of detailing. I don't think I need the second one, honestly. I can put it on, but I don't think it's necessary. It's also not a different size or anything, right? So I really don't understand why it was 2. But yeah, you can have 2 if you want. But that's it. Yeah, support-wise, I would say this one is definitely a little bit of a lighter support, but that's also because now this is a medium, and up top I'm usually a small. So yeah, that's always the sacrifice you have to make with one piece, is if you have 2 different sizes on your body, you probably size for the bigger one, and then you have to, you know, just have to live with it being a little bit big in other areas. So that's how it is. Anyway, let's move on. It's conclusion time, and let me just grab the pile of swimwear. Here we go. Definitely like some lavender, some blue, and some black and white. You can also find a lot of other colors there. I've definitely tried red and green and everything, I think, that they have. But this time I opted for these colors. Yeah, so you can definitely find like everything you kind of desire there, I feel like. And again, I love texture on fabric, and they do have lots of that. Lots and lots of that. And I just like it. So there you go. And again, I think it's really nice that there's all these different options, like for tops and bottoms, and you kind of mix and match, and you can order different sizes for the tops and different sizes for the bottoms. They also do have a plus size section. Like they got everything. They have cover-ups that sometimes do match, like exactly match the swimwear with their prints or whatever. You can find everything. So yeah. And honestly, you might think, oh, they sent her the stuff. She's saying all this just because. No, I just like the stuff, you know. That's also why I keep agreeing to having them send me stuff and making videos for them, because I like the stuff. I feel like it's quite unique in what you can get. And like I said, the choice of different bottoms and tops and everything, I don't think I've seen that anywhere else before. And it's nice that it's recycled fabrics. And again, when you buy it, it comes in a nice little bag. And it's all individually plastic wrapped, which is also great. You know, unexpected, but great. So yeah, that's that. If you do want to try out Berlook, you can use my code TAILS20 to get 20% off your purchase. What else was I going to say? I don't know. If you're looking for some of the other styles that they have on their website, just click through the playlist and see if I have reviewed that particular style. Because again, a lot of them stay on their website, so it's not like super like, oh, when this is gone, it's sold out and it's never coming back or something. But they usually have similar things or the same things in stock over a long period of time. So you might be able to still find the pieces you're looking for specifically in my other reviews, and you can just go click through that. Otherwise, let me know which set or piece was your favorite. I'm always in love with the blue stuff, but like the purple was also really good. And the one piece actually interesting. Not sure if it's my style, but like again, you know, it's kind of fun. It's different. That's why I picked it, right? But overall, you can always find something really good. The bottoms, I prefer like the highlight cut ones, right? That's just how it is. I like a little bit high-waisted and highlight cut. Although I always feel like the very skimpy ones with the strings on the side, like the triangle bikini bottoms, look really good on me too. It's just not something I always would go for if I go for a beach day, right? Because if I'm really active, I'm always afraid they're gonna slide down a little bit, so. Or come undone, I don't know. That's not gonna happen, but you know, there's still the worry. Anyway, let me know which piece was your favorite or which set, and if you've shopped Berlook before or not. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel so you get notified about all the new videos that are coming out. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. See active pieces in action, but not really swimwear. But you can also DM me there, but I'm more likely to see your comments here on YouTube. So if there's ever anything you want me to see, drop a comment down below for feedback, suggestions, whatever else you want to get off your chest. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.